But before we get to the consumer, let's go to the car companies because, you and I were talking before the broadcast about this very subject. I'm a tough sell on this. I find it hard to believe that if I were the vice president of anything at General Motors and the value of my 401k was rooted inextricably to the relationship that I have with Joe retiree, whom I can sell a new Oldsmobile every 2.5 years. Over against an electric vehicle where you don't have scale initially, right? And worse, you don't have spare parts. You've got one moving. Well, I'm exaggerating, but you don't. You have far fewer. The revenue stream associated with maintenance and parts is not eliminated, but it's greatly chopped off.
Absolutely.
So try to convince me why, if you're a sincere player from a financial perspective, I mean, if you're a good guy, that's one thing, but let's presume that we're making this decision on for economic reasons. What's in it for you to want to sell EVs?
Well, primarily survival, because the car companies they're reading the same reports I am, and they understand that peak oil is right around the corner, so that if they don't transition to electric drive, then they're going to be dead in the water. Their competition is transitioning as fast as possible. So it's going to take a little while, and they have to get their feet in the pool and get used to it and start developing the technology so that they can expand and eventually take over all of their product line. Right now, you have the plug-in hybrid, which is the Chevy Volt, and you have the pure electric, which is the Nissan Leaf. And those two technologies are going to dominate over the coming years. I can guarantee you 20 years from today, you will not be able to buy a car anywhere on the planet that does not have a plug on it. I can absolutely guarantee that. So how do you get there from here? Well, you have to start somewhere. So you start with the easiest one that you think you can sell, and then from there you've established a toehold in the marketplace, and then you greatly expand that. You're not going to be as profitable as with the big SUVs, but that's just the way it is going forward. It's going to be a completely different paradigm. The auto companies in the past got about 60% of their profit at point of sale. Then the additional profit, the 40%, was all based on parts and service. So you had to bring your car back in for oil changes, tune-ups, mufflers, radiators. Things started breaking over time. Now, the new cars of today do last a long time, but ultimately they will break down. The internal combustion engine, it only holds together because it's got a lot of oil in there lubricating it. And you've got all these moving parts. It's a very complex machine, whereas the battery electric is a battery, a controller, which takes the energy from the battery and puts it into the motor, and then the motor. And motors have been around for 130 years,
right,
and they're very well known. Motors just don't burn out. So it's a very stable device. My car's got 80,000 miles on it, 7.5 years old, and I replaced the shocks, and that was it.
Yes.
Nothing else has ever gone wrong with the car. So this is what you will expect when you get your plug-in car. You're gonna always know that it's gonna turn on every time. You never ever have a problem with it.